This video is a thank you to anyone that watched a recent video that I uploaded where I talked about the past 6 months with me trying to get into UX. The response that I got to that video was absolutely overwhelming in a very positive way, by the way. It outperformed all my videos by like 10x, and it seemed to really resonate with a lot of you. I got comments from people who are wanting to get into UX, people who are in UX, hiring managers in UX, and even some like more popular UX YouTubers. Apparently, this content that I talked about in that prior video really resonated with a large amount of designers. And so I'm just very grateful that I was able to give that insight from my experience. And that's really all it was. I think it's kind of funny because I didn't really think that video was going to do that well, really. It's my least edited video. It's by far my least scripted video. And there's like no B-roll. It's just me sitting in some random spot in Richmond. But I guess the message really struck a chord with a lot of people. And so I'm grateful that it was able to do that. And so part of me wondered why this video did so well. And I have gotten a ton of comments from people kind of giving me a look into why that is the case. And apparently it's just, I was honest and authentic. And I mean, that's certainly what I was trying to do in that video. But I guess I didn't realize how much people are craving that sort of content nowadays. And I think we as a society maybe are wanting more content from people that is just authentic and honest. I think about today and just modern society where AI is now becoming more and more prevalent. And when it comes to that, AI can be used to generate resumes, cover letters. It can generate entire YouTube videos. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like that, but there's been videos that have been generated, like scripts entirely made by AI. And so with that, there's certainly benefits in the sense that the barrier to entry when it comes to content creation is now probably the lowest it's ever been. But the flip side to that is that if a lot of people start posting these AI created video scripts, it's going to be very stale, and the whole content market, I think, is just going to be watered down. And so I think now more than ever, it's becoming more important to share your voice and to share just, you know, what your authentic experience is that you're going through, whether it's through trying to get into the UX industry or something else that you're interested in. And so that's really what I've been trying to do. And I think that's something that is going to be very important when it comes to getting a job in the UX industry. Again, I don't have any proof for what I'm about to say, but just as a bystander going through it, it makes sense to me that if there's a hiring manager that's looking at all these resumes and all these portfolios, well, if you look at a resume and you compare a couple resumes that have similar experience on it, you can't tell what that person is like. A resume paints no picture to what their personality is. Are they a team player? Are they just a friendly person? Are they ambitious? I mean, you can put those things in like the soft skills or whatever, but it doesn't really come across in a resume. Similarly with like a portfolio, really there's not a lot of personality when it comes to a portfolio, because a case study, there's only so many ways to lay out a case study, and you have to be able to present the projects that you worked on, so it doesn't leave a ton of room when it comes to showing off your personality. Now you have an about section in a portfolio, and that you can sort of get a little bit of a glimpse into someone's personality and just who they are. as a person. But I think what really is going to separate people is people who document their journey. Again, I have no evidence for this, but it just seems to, I don't know, it seems to make sense for me from just this humanist perspective that if you have some sort of medium where you're able to share your experiences, the highs, the lows, the neutrals, what you learn, if you're able to share that in a way that other people can resonate with, or even just something that you can just share your own ideas about. You're not necessarily trying to cater to someone. You're just being, you're just sharing your thoughts and experiences. I think that is going to be, I just can't imagine why that wouldn't be impactful to some degree. And I can say that by doing YouTube for the past 6 months and posting these videos weekly, I mean, I've gotten emails from people that are in the UX industry that have been like wanting to help me out, which is like, first of all, I'm like immensely grateful about that. And it's just really, I mean, it's just crazy to see, to be honest. And so I think there is something to it about just sharing what you're going through and just sharing your experience. I think people like seeing that kind of a thing. And it doesn't mean you necessarily have to do YouTube. I mean, there's a lot of different means to sort of sharing your authentic self. You can do a blog if you like more written content. You can do a podcast if you're more into just talking in front of a microphone and being a little bit more casual with what you're talking about. Or you can do YouTube. It doesn't really matter. But I think that going forward, especially with how prevalent AI is becoming, and that's only going to become more and more saturated within our society, I think that the ability to pierce through that by sharing content that shows people who you are as a person, I think is really what is going to break through the noise. When I think about my viewing habits on YouTube, or just anyone that I really admire, it's not necessarily that I admire the person that's the smartest or has the best tutorials or something like that. The people that I tend to subscribe to are the people that I tend to just really vibe with their personality, especially if they have like a video that's a little bit, off the cuff. If someone does a lot of tutorials and they do like a, just an interesting behind the scenes video where I get to see what they're like, I tend to subscribe to those kinds of people because I feel like I'm kind of like experiencing their world as opposed to someone who's just presenting information in every video, presenting information in this objective way. So yeah, I encourage you to maybe give it a try and just try sharing your experience. If you're someone that is wanting to get into UX, perfect way to document your journey because you're going to have a lot of obstacles. I know I certainly have many obstacles even at the moment. But if you're currently in UX, certainly there's things that you're experiencing on a day-to-day basis that might be worth sharing with other people. Again, it doesn't have to necessarily be done as a tutorial like, oh, this is how you blah, blah, blah. But it can just, be you sharing either a day in the life or what are you struggling with now at work? What are you trying to get to? And I don't know. I think having more content like that as opposed to just strictly tutorial presenting information. I mean, that stuff is good. Don't get me wrong. Like I certainly watch my fair share of tutorials when I want to learn something. But I think that just seeing life as a UX designer or someone wanting to get into UX through the lens of their human experience, I think is really where some cool material and content can be found. So hopefully this was useful for you. Again, thank you so much for like this overwhelming support that I got on the recent video. It is still gaining traction and it's just, I don't know. There's no words to describe it. I wish I could find the right words. It's just crazy to me. And so I'm certainly replying to every single comment because a lot of the comments that I've been getting have been super in-depth, and it just means a lot to me that you're supporting me on this journey. And if there's any way that I can support you I would certainly want to try to be able to do that best I can. But yeah, I think that's all I have. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Take care.